This is Dr. Leslie Blevins with Anilda Clinic at anildaclinic.com, and today we're going to talk about how you can extend your normal parenting behaviors to be educational during this pandemic life so that you're decreasing your stress related to educational time with your kid, and you're making it more functional, and you're meeting the goal that the school might have for your child as well as your goal for your child. So let's get started. Today I'm specifically going to focus on reading. Reading is so foundational. It's the basis for most, if all subjects as children are getting older. We say oftentimes that in early grades, children are learning to read, but then by like 5th, 6th grade, children are reading to learn. And so reading is just so essential. And one of the things that I think started to occur to me a few days ago is that parents have always had this unique role where they have dialogue with their children and they talk about how the education and academics that their kid is learning at school applies to the real world, and it applies to the values that the family has. And I think that as parents have taken over homeschooling, they've also taken over more traditional teacher-led types of responsibilities. And that's super stressful because, for one, big reason is that there's Common Core, which tends to be really confusing. But then another big reason is that it also tends to be a little bit more rote and repetitive. And, you're sitting down and just doing work that is more basic, or what we would call accuracy work, sometimes fluency work. And what started to occur to me is that maybe that's shifting parents' attention away from their more traditional role of focusing on the value of education. And so today I wanted to talk about how you can meld the two worlds together to meet increasing a child's reading literacy skills while doing it through traditional parenting behaviors that you're likely already doing and mastered and find easy to integrate into your day. So let's get started. So basically, the biggest thing is just dialogue with your child. You can do this through any book that you're reading with your kid. So if you have a younger child, you probably read with your child, and just making sure that you extend the conversation after you put down the book, talking about the characters, talking about their feelings, talking about their thoughts, setting predictions for what might happen further into the story, predicting even before you start the story, just based on maybe previewing the text. If you have older children, you can do this too, of course, in even more elaborate detail. You can relate it to real world situations your child is aware of. Now, the other big thing, especially with younger children or children that have dyslexia or aren't quite so fluent in reading, is that you can read with your child aloud. And by doing that, you're modeling good reading skills. This modeling is important because it's not just that you're showing them what their goal is to look like whenever they read, but you're actually helping them to mentally rehearse that reading. So you're doing something called prosody, which is them understanding how words sound in their head. Now, the English language is prosody is fundamental to it. And so the way we say something implies whether something is a statement or a question. It implies whether we're being enthusiastic or sarcastic. And so prosody is so important. And what we do know is that people who read, specifically novels, they tend to have better insight into social emotional context and understanding. And giving a child prosody instruction through reading aloud to them is a great fundamental way to start giving them that type of instruction. The next piece is that reading aloud to them is going to help them with accuracy with unfamiliar vocabulary words. And so you're actually modeling how to say that correct vocabulary word so that then whenever they might try to read that text, they have a better idea of how to say it. This decreases the effortfulness of reading an unfamiliar word, it makes them more motivated to read it. So approaching an unfamiliar word, it doesn't have to be this, trudging and just arduous task. We want to make it as easy as possible so that your kid feels motivated and excited to do it. If they already know how to say the word, then they can start focusing on what that word means, how it fits into the context of the sentence and the paragraph and the story itself. Then your kid is really learning. And so taking that time to read aloud to your kid is super, super helpful. Now, once you do read aloud to your kid, you can also just have your kid take some time to then read silently to themselves. Now, one of the guidelines you might want to follow for silent reading is for the younger grades. This would be any elementary grade school child. Is you want to make sure that for the book they chose, that they don't that they understand all the words on the page, with up to only 3 words not understood or not known. And so let's say that you find some Amazon books that you want to order, or let's say that you are looking at some books at the library. You might go over to Amazon and look inside the books and just review a few pages. You want to make sure that your child knows most of the words, up to only 3 words on the page that they cannot say and don't know. And so that would be a good indicator that your child is ready to silently read that book. So that's a really high level of proficiency and ease with which they can read. It's going to actually help them stay motivated and interested in the text. Now, for your middle schoolers and your high schoolers, you can have up to 5 words that are unknown on each page. And so again, we want to make sure that your kid is able to really get through this text with a good bit of ease. Now, if there's a book that your child is particularly interested in, and there are a couple of more unknown words on each page, then talk with your child about that. Are they willing to have a little bit more struggle in order to get through this text that they really want to get through? If that's the case, then sure, go through it. It might mean that you have more dialogue. It might mean that you talk to them about how to use a reference. I know that whenever I'm reading a hard text, I'll use my cell phone and I will just look up things on my cell phone, words on my cell phone, so that I'm able to keep up the flow of reading, but I'm also able to keep up my comprehension. So there are lots of things that you can do. One thing is just having these conversations at the dinner table, or just using your normal reading time to think about how you're building your child's literacy skills. In this way, you're not putting so much pressure on yourself whenever you're getting worksheets home, or you're getting these literacy assignments home, or maybe if you get these assignments home and you feel like they're mismatched for your child's skill level, you can still be doing the things that you would normally be doing and know that you are actually helping your child to move forward with their literacy. You are benefiting your child, you are being engaged, and you are educating them. It's not for nothing, okay? And I think that that's really the point here with parents doing homeschooling, is that you're being engaged and you're helping your child to stay curious and to stay enthralled with learning and to love learning. That's what's so important, so that whenever they go back to school next year, they will be ready to just pick up and keep going, okay? All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this learning video. You can sign up to get these in your email, where I have even more fun things to send you each week, and you can do that at anildaclinic.com. I'll see you next time. Bye.